Well, for his perspective now on Numsa's expulsion, we're speaking to former Cosatu General Secretary Mbhazima Shilowa. He's on the line for us. And Mbhazima, a very good morning to you. How are you feeling this morning after what's happened over the weekend with Cosatu and Numsa? How do you feel about the organization having been part of it?
I think that everyone who put yoke to shoulder to help build Cosatu should really feel that it is a sad day. Not a sad day simply because I have any sympathies personally for any of the people involved, but it's just simply unheard of, and I don't think that's what the suspension on the Constitution was all about, that you could have a few people, roughly 34 of them, deciding to excise from the Federation close to 300,000 workers. It is going to have an impact on the country. It's going to have an impact on, on industrial relations. It will have an impact because suddenly a trade union federation that was majority-led by industrial unions will suddenly become public sector-led, and therefore the focus is going to be more internal rather than on the transformation of the economy. But secondly, as you have all of those problems, I'm sure Cosatu will try to spun a new metal workers union. It means you're going to have strife on the shop floor as people try to vie for membership and collective bargaining rights.
Mbhazima, just looking at some newspaper reports this morning, we see Cosatu saying that, you know, they already have a replacement waiting in the wings. We're looking, like you say, another metal workers union, Mawusa. How do you think that will work? Could that in any way bring about a stronger Cosatu again? Because many people are seeing this as the deterioration of Cosatu.
I think if that's what Cosatu has said, it therefore proves the point that Numsa had been making, that Cosatu has been organizing a counter trade union to Numsa, because you would expect that, after the expulsion of Numsa, it's only then that people may be able to come together, decide whether they stay within Numsa or not. Whereas what is really going to happen is people trying to recruit people outside of Numsa. And I don't think that is likely to succeed because, knowing Numsa, they've tended to be better organized on the shop floor. And I don't think there will be workers who would want to leave a stronger Numsa based on a future of a trade union that is yet to be tested.
Mbhazima, Numsa saying that the fight is not over. What would your advice to Numsa be? To fight to stay? Many asking this morning, why would you want to fight to stay where you are not wanted? Or to go on their own and form this political party that they say they want to do by December?
I think to an extent that there were procedures that were not followed leading up to the expulsion. They may have a chance in challenging it in court. Other than that, I don't see them having any chance in there. So, under those circumstances, I would say they need to weigh their option, whether there's procedural things that they need to follow, or whether they need to simply accept that, look, they have been expelled, go back into their broader membership, regroup that particular membership, and then see how they move forward. Even though the point I'm making is that, look, it is possible that they can come together with NATU, with FEDUSA, and form a new federation. That does not change the point that we're better off with Workers United because you can bring about changes as long as it's understood that what brings workers together, it's primarily about common interest on the working place rather than common interest politically. And
Mbhazima, having been part of Cosatu, do you think that they have done the absolute wrong thing here?
Well, no. I looked at the clause that would have been used to expel Numsa. It says that if the union does not act in the best interest of the federation. And I guess the issue would be about the political posture they've taken. That's nothing new. Unions in the past have taken political position contrary to that of the federation. We took a view that it doesn't really matter. That's not what brings us together. What brought us together was issues of unity of workers. Secondly, it will be about them extending the scope. It may or may not be right, but if you look at Cosatu today, there will be 2 or 3 nurses unions there which out-organize one another. There will be 2 or 3 public sector unions there that out-organize one another. Numsa and NUM have always been organizing out one another in ESCOM. Does it make it right? No. But I don't think it is something in which you could expel the federation. You could expel. I know people say we have expelled Numsa. But you've got to think it's not Numsa that have been expelled. It's not an affiliate. It's not a number. It's 300,000 workers having been told, you are no more part of us. What is going to happen today? If there is a Cosatu local, should these workers arrive there? Are they going to be driven out? What happens to those worker leaders who came from Numsa, who are holding positions in regions, in provinces, and in locals? Are they supposed to be booted out as well? It's going to be a nightmare for the federation, and I would have thought that if this was such a fundamental issue, a special Congress or going to the Central Committee, which is due now, would have been the better option.
All right. Thank you very much for your time and that insight. Former Cosatu General Secretary Mbhazima Shilowa on the line for us.